Hey everybody, Burke Franklin here. Welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time viewing, thank you very much for finding this particular episode. If you're returning and been here before, good to see you. And anyway, today we're going to transplant this Sago right here. It's actually a really cool Sago. It's got a great little trunk to it. It's just extremely unhappy with where it is right now. It's been here for a number of years. It doesn't seem to grow. The ground here is terrible. It's all rocky, hard, not good soil. There's pipes underneath here. It's just a mess. So today we are going to move this Sago. I'm gonna show you how to dig it out. We're gonna do a soil mixture. I'll show you how to aerate, put the rocks in so that it gets good drainage inside that soil. And we're gonna put it in this pot right here. I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but you'll get a chance to see it a little bit later. So anyway, with that being said, we're just gonna get right into this. So first off, let me show you a little bit closer what this plant looks like. So basically you can see here it's got a really nice trunk, but these fronds have just never really taken off in this spot. There was another Sago here years ago. It did not do well here either. It had to be moved, and so I have called this place now is no longer going to be a Sago home. We're going to move this stuff out of here, get these succulents out of the way. We're just going to pull this stuff out and really get into this plant. But anyway, that's what we're going to do. Let's get started right now. So anyway, the first thing that we're going to do here, well, we're going to move these little succulent leaves. Are already rooting down here. This is actually a really cool succulent. We're not going to talk about succulents here on this channel, but we are going to move these out of the way because this one can be planted, and we're going to plant it later on. So we're just going to put that over there. Get these out of the way. We don't want to waste these. These are good little leaves. So I think the first thing that we want to do is we're just going to move all this brown bark away and kind of figure out what kind of root system this plant has at this point. So we're just going to move this away. Now, when you're moving your Sagos, I'm assuming you are looking at this channel right now because you are thinking about either planting a Sago or you are going to be relocating one. If you're planting one, I think later on when we get to the planting portion of this, you'll see how I go about making my mixture. But for right now, if you're going to be digging your Sago up, keep in mind these are very durable plants, and they don't need a real big root system to survive. And so you don't have to worry about saving every little root that comes from this plant. We're just going to kind of decide how big of a ball we want this to be, and that's what it's going to be. And from there, it will grow. You know, the truth is, if we actually cut this Sago, believe me, I'm not recommending that you do this, but you should know you could do it. You could cut this Sago right here. We could saw this Sago right here. No roots at all. And if we care for this properly, it will grow. And so that's why I say the roots that we do keep for the Sago in this particular transplanting will be plenty for this plant to survive. So don't let that be something that you're being super careful of getting all the roots. We're not going to do that. I think the big unknown about this particular location is that I don't remember where the pipes are here. But I can see we're definitely cutting through roots right here. That's all good. We need to cut through roots to get this plant out. You might not have a little shovel like this, but this is actually a really handy little shovel. If you don't have one and you run into one, get one. I enjoy using this shovel. But you can use a hand trowel if you wanted to, or a regular shovel, or you can get down with a pick. All kinds of ways of doing it. And I'm just being a little bit careful because I don't want to hit any pipes and make this a harder job than it is. I'm shaking it a little bit to see like how loose is this plant. It's not very loose at this moment. So I just want to kind of get in here and show you what's happened so far. We're just digging around this plant, kind of creating a root ball. That's the potting material that I saw, this plastic pot. And so I don't know what that's protecting, but it's protecting something. We'll be careful of that. But we could probably take a shovel at this point, stick it down in here and just pry this whole thing up, and it's going to pop right out of the ground, I think. So we might just try that. We might try that with this little shovel. We'll see what we can do. Okay, so that worked really well. Basically, to give you a better idea of the size of this root ball should be much, much bigger. But again, because this plant's just not that happy here, we don't have as many roots as I would have thought. So we're just gonna pry this thing up. I'm gonna set this camera over here. I'm gonna lift this thing out of the ground and show you what we have. There's our root ball. So now we know how big that is. Next thing we're gonna do, is we know that that's our pot. I like that pot. The pot's plenty big. We have some dirt here. So I've got some dirt here that's got some, oh, I think it's perlite possibly here, which is good for irrigation in here. But we're gonna add some additional stuff to this, which is this right here. So this is really good stuff. It's volcanic black rock, and I love to use it, and we're gonna use it in this pot. If this was going into the ground, we probably wouldn't use much of it, but it's not. So let me show you a little bit about what's in this bag. So this is what's in here. It's just volcanic, super lightweight, and it's super porous, great for water drainage, which is what we really want with this sago. We want it to get wet, the roots, but We're gonna put plenty of this in this soil, in that pot, and this plant's gonna be super happy, really, really happy. So I'm gonna move this pot over here. Okay, we've got our plant over here now. We've got, I think, just about everything that we need. We've got our pot, we've got our soil right in here. We've got our soil mixture that we will be adding the volcanic rock to. So we're gonna pour some of that. I like to do my mixing in a bigger container like this. So I'll probably mix little pieces, little parts at a time. Then I'll put them into this pot. We'll get this situated in the right spot, and we'll be all good. So I think the first thing that I would do is put some of this volcanic rock down at the very bottom, because this has drainage holes in it, and we're going to cover these drainage holes up with this rock. So we're not going to put too much in. We'll put just enough to cover the where the holes are, so that we don't end up losing all of our soil in the holes. Another thing that you can do sometimes, I'm just going to look back here. So you can find rocks in your yard as well. You could take these rocks and you could stick them down at the bottom of the pot. You don't want to cover up the hole all the way, but you can cover up most of the hole so that it still drains well. And that's what I'm doing right now. Even though the camera can't see it, I think you can picture what I'm doing. And then I'm putting this volcanic rock kind of at the bottom there. Let me show you what that looks like. So this is what we did. And these are the little rocks that I just put there, and they're covering up the holes. We've got hole, 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 and then we're going to do our mixture over here. Again, we've got our soil. We're going to mix some of our volcanic rock into there. Sometimes it's hard to get these videos and do the angles so that you can see what's going on. And so I move the camera around a lot. Hopefully it helps, and hopefully you can see what I'm doing. The next thing that I'm going to do here is I'm going to put a little bit of this dirt down here, because we've got a bunch of rock down there at this point. And as the roots start to work their way down towards the bottom, that's dusty. Okay, and so what I'm doing is I'm picking up dirt with rock at the same time. It just kind of mixes it in. We'll end up with a good mixture of volcanic rock in there. And this is typically how I would do it. I'm gonna put this, the Sago is gonna, the ball of this was only about this high, so we still have a lot of dirt that needs to go in here. So we're just gonna pile a bunch in. I don't really have a mixture where you say, oh, it's 3 to 1, 2 to 1. I don't do that. I just kind of do it by looking at it. And you know, if I had to guess, it's probably 25% rock. My guess, something like that. I'm gonna put this in here to see how high, how much more dirt we need. We need quite a we need quite a bit more dirt. So I think this needs to come up probably another 4 inches. So we're going to take this back out, set it there. I don't think you could go wrong if you had too much rock in there. You can see, look at that scoop. There's a lot of rock. And this plant is going to be very happy to have a lot. Okay, now let's get this in here. I think that, well, it's just about right. It could be a little bit higher probably. It could be a little bit higher, but I think we're going to be okay. So we can get this sago sitting in here straight. Kind of push down the sides. It's not that much. So basically, we've set the sago in there. It's not much different than putting any plant in a pot. You're just going to bring it up to a level that seems appropriate for the pot, and that's kind of what we did here. I'll get a closer look here so you can see. You know, we're probably a little bit low. I'm probably going to raise this up just a tiny bit. So we're getting close to where we want it. If I have not mentioned already, I appreciate you watching. If you are not subscribed to this channel, please hit that subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up. Would appreciate that. If you like the content and you like what you see, please do that. Leave a comment. If you've never left a comment before, please do that. I answer all questions. If you have any questions, definitely leave a question. I will answer it. If you just want to tell me about your sago, I will read it and appreciate any kind of replies and communication that you want. Greatly appreciated. Again, thank you for subscribing, and thank you for those of you who are already subscribed. Let's finish this project up. So we are just about done. And like any plant, we pat down the sides and pack it down a little bit. Now, usually you want to plant this a little bit higher in the pot than you would want it eventually, because once you start watering this, the soil is going to sink down a little bit. So the plant will end up lower after, a few weeks, a month. It'll start lowering. It's easier for the plant to lower itself because once it's in here, you can't really raise it up, or it's more difficult. So we're going to put a little bit more of this rock here. Again, this is the volcanic black rock, and highly recommend it. If you have it at a Home Depot or some kind of a nursery near you, that's the one that I would get. This is going to be a much happier plant in this pot than over there in that crummy little location. I can hardly wait for the new growth to come out of here, where these are going to be nice and green, and there's so few fronds on this one right now. There's probably what, seven fronds that come out of this. This should be so much bigger with a beautiful trunk like this also. So anyway, so I think that we've got this to a level where we want it. We could easily, at this point, see how some of these have not been trimmed up. We could take this time to just trim off some of this older bark. For the most part, it's pretty good looking. And so I'm just going to do a real super quick job on this. There. Little cleanup. Not that you want to see that, but it is part of it. I think I've shown you this before. This mat made by Husky. They are not an official sponsor of this show, but this is a really cool thick mat. It's great for kneeling down. I use it all the time. It saves my knees. I can kneel on concrete or rock or anything. There. I think we did it. Let's just see. Let's give it a quick look around. And there it is. We could have nice music playing while we show you this. Maybe I will. I don't know. But it's just such a it's a really nice trunk, and it's just a shame to have this sitting over in that location that it was. So I'm happy that it's going to be right here. Now you can see the how much rock I have in here, and I have that kind of volume throughout that whole planter. Anyway, there you have it.